Welcome to Ditch Digger CEO, and we've got another all-star today. Like always, Chris has done a great job, right? Going after the best of the best that you can find when it comes to leaders in business, people that have built something from nothing, and are market leaders today. And so you guys are going to get a kick out of Jose's story. Jose Herrera, we're excited to have you, and welcome to Ditch Digger CEO.
Thank you, Gary. Hey, Chris, how are you?
So we talk about entrepreneurship and business and all that. I mean, we've had many great stories here at Ditch Digger CEO, and oftentimes they're people that have experienced living in other countries, and whether they're immigrants or they've just been around the world. In many cases, in my case, it's been I've seen how other countries operate, and I've been around the world, and really it took me a while to realize that we really are living the American dream here in this great country. Here's another story of Jose, who's built this amazing business, and he's going to talk about today. Jose, tell us a little bit about yourself first, a little bit about your upbringing, and then we'd like to hear a little bit about that. Kind of if there's some faith that you hold high, if there's some mentors in your life, kind of the start of where you came from and how you came into this amazing opportunity to build a business.
Definitely. So my name is Jose Herrera. I am the co-founder and CEO of Horatio. We are a premier outsourcing provider offering customer support, back office solutions, and trust and safety services across e-commerce, fintech, and healthcare. We provide things that are beyond just traditional customer service, enabling businesses to scale efficiently while focusing on their core operations. Our headquarters are in the Dominican Republic and in Colombia, where we have over 2,500 employees, servicing 100 clients more or less in the US. My story goes back to my upbringing in the Dominican Republic, which is, as you know, a Caribbean island, where I spent the majority of my childhood there, obviously traveling a lot to the US when I was a kid. But before I decided to pursue my college degree in the US, I actually worked at a call center in the DR. And that was my first work experience. I actually did that because it was one of the highest paying jobs in the island, if you were fully bilingual in English and Spanish. And I remember that the talent in the DR is phenomenal. And I decided to use all of those savings to apply for college, actually. So that was my story in terms of my first experience working at a call center. The experience was great, but I remember that the employee experience was not the best. I was like trapped in a cubicle. These places were super dark. There was no collaboration. And like, obviously it's not an easy job when you're dealing with customer service, everyone calling to complain. And so after that, as I said, was accepted into a couple universities in the US, got a scholarship to attend Bentley University, which is a small business school in Boston, outside of Boston, in a town called Waltham, Massachusetts. It's actually #1 for career services. And what I ultimately wanted to do, and what my dream job was, obviously, was a career in finance. And I worked very hard to get that, particularly because I graduated in the middle of the economic recession that we had back in 2009, 2010. But I was lucky enough to land the job at Goldman Sachs in New York. And that was my first official professional experience. And it was incredible. After that, I wanted to be closer to Latin America and work in an industry that was a little bit more tied to Latin. Morgan Stanley was rebuilding their Latin America sales team in their investment management division. And so I switched over to Morgan Stanley. And that was my first foray into entrepreneurship. Even though Morgan Stanley is an incredible institution, a massive corporation, at the time, as you recall, there were a lot of layoffs, and all these companies were rebuilding from the ashes, basically. And I was wearing many hats as an analyst. I was the marketing guy, I was the legal guy, I was the compliance guy, I was the sales guy. So, rolling up my sleeves at a very young age was truly transformational. We were able to take a business that was under $1 billion in assets with 5 years to over 16 billion, raising capital for the firm with the financial institutions, hedge funds, and pension funds in Latin America. And that was an incredible experience. I had a very strong team of mentors there. That's where I learned excellence. That's where I learned discipline. And that was the foundation to what is now a successful enterprise at Horatio.
So tell us about this. So Goldman Sachs, how many years do you have? And were you an analyst there? And then,
Yeah,
and then Morgan Stanley, how many years?
So I was an analyst at Goldman for a year, and it was at the time where LinkedIn and all these like big startups were coming to fruition. So everyone wanted to get a hot job in tech. I was part of that as well. Actually, I was interviewing for a job at LinkedIn. I remember leaving the Empire State Building, which is where LinkedIn offices were. And after that interview, I get a LinkedIn message, ironically, from a Morgan Stanley recruiter saying, "Hey, we're rebuilding our Latin America sales team. Like, do you want to join us? Like, do you want to learn more about the opportunity?" And I was like, you know what? Sure, I'll get to try it out. And I got the offer, and I decided to give finance another chance. And I was in Morgan Stanley for 7 years. Was able to get promoted all the way to vice president of the firm. Got a lot of exposure to senior leadership there, and I was responsible for helping or organize and do all the fundraising for all of Morgan Stanley's long-only funds, private equity funds, and it took me around the world. Actually, I was basically a George Clooney up in the air, always in a roadshow, traveling around LATAM. Traveling around Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Argentina, Uruguay. Also had incredible opportunities in London, which is where I reported ultimately to, and I learned a lot. But I always wanted to give back to the DR and find a way to help the island. And politics was not in the cards for me, at least not yet. And so I decided that the only way that I could do that, it was like building job and creating job opportunities. At the time, I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I decided to take a break and pursue my MBA. I did my MBA when I was 28, so a little bit older than the average MBA student. But I decided to pursue my MBA at Columbia Business School, and that's where I met my co-founders, Jared and Alex. Jared and Alex also come from the finance industry. They worked at Alex worked at JP Morgan, and Jared worked at a private equity firm called PineBridge. And the three of us became very close, very fast. You spend a lot of time with people during the MBA, and we share a lot of common values, family values, personal goals. We all wanted to do something, and originally, we thought we were going to be venture capitalists. That was like our whole dream. And this was back in 2017, where, as you recall, it was when e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands were hot, right? Everyone was launching an e-commerce brand. Everyone was launching a direct-to-consumer brand. And so we said, hey, why don't we start finding opportunities in this space and like building out a portfolio of direct-to-consumer investments? And so we did our first investment in a company called Clean Coat, which is a direct-to-consumer non-toxic cleaning brand, which you can now find at your nearest Costco if you want to support that. And through that experience,
what was that company? What was that company? What do they do? Clean Coat?
Clean Coat, yes. They provide non-toxic cleaning products. So think about all-purpose cleaners, laundry detergents. They actually got a patent for a glass bottle container, and so you just have to refill that glass bottle container, and so you can actually help in terms of like recycling materials, and it's an all natural suite of products. So they have laundry detergents, they have all-purpose cleaners, and initially they were only doing direct to consumer. Now they've pivoted and done more of the retail play, which is where most people are buying their products. But that was a great experience for us because we were working very closely with the founders and realized that one of their biggest pain points was dealing with operations and customer support, while at the same time dealing with fundraising, dealing with marketing, dealing with things that were more core to their business. And so we were discussing with them how we could help them. And they said, hey, we actually just need help answering customer inquiries. And so we were actually the first agents trying to understand like what are the technologies that are being used to answer customer inquiries? How are you gathering that data? How are you collecting that feedback to inform product innovation and product improvements? And through that experience, that's where the whole ethos of Horatio came about. Because I remember looking for people in the US and I was like, wow, this is very expensive. As you start thinking about scaling a team that is essential for you, but it's not your bread and butter and it's not your core competency, it takes a lot of distraction. And if you can find like a reliable partner that can actually like take over that function, build a dedicated team that is proud to represent your brand values and your voice, that would translate into like a very strong ROI. And
So
that
how
was
big
the
how big
initial-
was how big was Clean Cold when you guys discovered them and mapped them and all that before you
we
started
we
working
actually we actually seeded them. So they needed the initial capital. They were two young kids that graduated from Babson College, which is one of the top schools in entrepreneurship. A lot of grit, and they were super young. Since then they've matured and they're running a very successful business. But we were the first capital that they got. They then raised a Series A and Series B with some venture capital firms. But it was just like us in the trenches, trying to figure out how we could like help them and figure things out together. They were hesitant at first. Their main concern was, how can you guys assure me that I'm going to get the same level of quality? How can you guys make sure that my brand voice stays intact? And that's where we build our own proprietary like training playbook, which is like what we do with most e-commerce brands nowadays. It's like understanding their brand voice, how we can speak to their customers, how that brand voice translates across each channel. And then I said, hey, why don't we try finding people in the DR that can help us do that? And we were like, okay, let's try it out, and that's how we got started. So fully bootstrapped. We didn't put any outside capital in the business, even to this day. And that's how we started with Horatio. And Horatio, for those of you that don't know in the audience, I lived on Horatio Street in New York. I lived in a rent-controlled studio. I was on an MBA budget, so it was a rent-controlled studio in the West Village on Horatio Street, and that's where we came up with the idea. And I looked up who Horatio was, and it was actually Hamlet's trusted friend. And so we wanted to convey a message of trust and reliability. And so we have a call to action. That's our website, which is hirehoratio.com, which basically literally translates into hire your trusted friend. And that's where the idea started.
That's awesome. I like it. Well, how big did Clean Cold get?
I mean, they're massive now, but at the time we started with just 2 agents, and then we grew to a team of like about 10. And then that's where they decided to pivot more into retail. So like their main operation is retail right now.
And the size of their business today is what are they at? Do you know?
I am not sure of the size of the business, but they are in the double-digit million revenue company now.
Mm-hmm. And do you guys still work with them?
Yes, yeah, and we still advise with them, and we still work we're still investors in the business as well. But they're, since Clean Code, our business has evolved a lot, and I'm happy to talk a little bit about like some of the other things that we're doing now for other types of companies. But the interesting thing is that our third client was a small company that went viral on YouTube called Dr. Squatch. It's a men's personal care brand that is very funny. If you look at their first video that went super viral, and they came to us because they were working with a BPO or a competitor in the Philippines. They were small at the time, and there was only 3 agents. And because of the brand voice, they were struggling to get quality team members there.
Why do you spell that, Dr. Squatch?
Squatch, S like Sasquatch, SQAWATCH.
All right, that's wild. That's a cool name.
Yeah, and if you look at them, I mean, they've advertised on the Super Bowl. They're a big brand. They actually raised a big round from a private equity fund. And when we started working together, their concern was the same. It's like brand voice. How can you continue speaking my brand? If you look at their social media presence, they are very funny and like unique brand, and they have a very strong loyal following. Like people are super loyal to this product. They launched limited edition soaps and personal care products that sell immediately. They've done collaborations with Marvel Studios. They have Harry Potter, Batman, limited editions. And when these products launch, like people go crazy for them. And so they needed a partner that could work with building out a dedicated team for them on the personal, on the customer care side, but also help them with other tasks. And they've also ventured into retail as well. So now they're on Walmart, Costco, and other major retailers, and we provide support across all the different channels. That team started with a team of 3. They ended up going all the way to 100 dedicated team members with us at Horatio. It's been a very strong partnership, and that is something that we've been able to replicate across other e-commerce brands.
Nice. That's cool. And that's kind of the fun you're having, right? Is you're finding success in one brand, and you say, gosh, you could transfer that to another brand that makes sense, right?
Yes, definitely. And I think what is cool about Horatio for an employee is that they get to work with mission-driven companies. They're not working with like the traditional big enterprises. And so most of our recruiting is tailored to the solution and the team and the brand that they're going to be working with. So we're hiring for a healthcare client, we're typically looking for people that have healthcare experience. If we're hiring for a fintech client, we're looking for people that have financial services experience. And the same goes for e-commerce and all of that. And that has resulted in a very good synergy between our clients and their dedicated team that they see as a true extension of the organization.
And what are the limitations of it? What's the let's say top 5 talent categories that you guys hire for to support your customers? Let's say top 5. Is it call center? Is it branding? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it really depends on the industries, but it is customer experience and support. That includes the traditional customer support, live chat, technical support for physical products. And in that service offering, we also have AI implementation. So we work with our clients to understand like what are the low-hanging fruits that we can leverage automation and the latest AI technologies to help the team become more efficient and to get rid of those repetitive tasks. Trust and safety. So with financial services companies, we work on fraud prevention analysis, content moderation, risk and compliance. So AML, account opening, things like that. Surveillance of like fraudulent activity. When it comes to more specialized services, I would say within healthcare, obviously we're HIPAA compliant. So having RCM work, like revenue cycle management work, appointment setting, insurance verification. Within finance, we also do KYC, AML, billing support. And then we also do a lot of quality assurance and training for retention and upselling. So those are, I would say, the main categories that we are currently providing. But typically our clients start working with us with one line of business, and then they say, hey, I need a team of data analysts, can you guys help find that talent? I need a team of graphic designers, for example. And so we're constantly working with our clients to understand like what else can we do. Our motto is like, do what you do best and hire Horatio to do the rest. And they take that literally. And so it's exciting for us to like continue to find interesting opportunities for the talent in LATAM.
I like that. So all right. So nowadays you have how many people serving your customers now? How many people do you have serving your partners?
We service about 100 clients, and we have over 2,500 team members that are working at Horatio in the DR and in Colombia.
And most of your companies you're serving are U.S. companies?
Yes, they're all U.S. companies. They're typically either private equity backed, venture backed. We have some publicly traded companies, but typically we like to start working with our clients when they're like Series A and they start building everything, because most of our clients don't have a lot of documentation. That's where we shine as well. It's like that consultative approach to working with our clients and understanding, hey, what are your pain points? How can we help you eliminate those pain points and those barriers? And one of the biggest things that we uncover is that there is a lack of documentation across the board. There's a lot of things that are typically in the founder's head or in someone's head, and we have to extract that so we can build scalable, repeatable processes that can allow them to focus on like their day-to-day and like have a partner that understands like what is needed to like take care of their customers and take care of the different lines of businesses that we're doing. So as part of our onboarding process, we send a checklist of everything that we know we'll need from them to build out their dedicated training playbook. And then we also do a tech consulting evaluation where we look at under the hood, like what are the technologies that you're using? What is your tech stack? Is it optimal? Are you getting bang for your buck? And because we're tech agnostic, which is very different from traditional BPOs that are married to one technology and they force their clients to use their technology, we are able to provide best-in-class recommendations, and we don't have like any like conflict of interest in terms of saying, hey, this solution is not working for you. You can use this other product that is going to be better for you. So that's something that we do a lot upfront, is that consulting approach to making sure that we're setting up everything for success from day one.
So most of your stuff is B2C, or do you guys do much B2B?
We do B2B as well. And we have some B2B clients where we're working with, where it's a little bit more high end. It's more, there's a distinction between traditional customer support and customer success. We do a lot of customer success work for our B2B clients.
Okay. Tell us a little about the story. How you met your partners, how you came about, the solution after investing in your first company, that clean, what's it called? Clean Code.
Yeah.
Right? Clean Code. Tell us a little bit about that, the kind of the story behind all that.
Yeah. So I think the way that we got started was basically with a couple of agents on the Clean Code side, and then we got another company, and then we got through our network at Columbia, and then we landed Dr. Squatch, and that's where we started like to say, hey, this is a real business, and we wanted to discuss, like we wanted to figure out like how we're going to differentiate ourselves and what we were going to build. And what I aimed to build was the complete opposite of the traditional BPO or outsourcing call center environment. They typically have a negative reputation. They don't have the best, people don't have the best view of them because they are a more traditional like sweatshop environment where the employees are not the center of the organization. They only care about clients, they only care about numbers. And what we wanted to build was an environment where employees actually looked forward to coming to the office and actually looks forward to working with their dedicated clients. And we aim to build what we call, what our clients call when they come and visit us, is like the Google of Latin America, right? When you walk into our offices, you feel that we have a bright, open space where we don't have cubicles, where we have open round tables that foster collaboration, where you can actually ask your teammates questions and you don't feel confined to one space. The space is state of the art. We have an incredible facility here in the DR, but we also have replicated that across our other sites in Colombia. And it now includes an on-site daycare for working parents. We have a gym. We have a yoga and Pilates studio. We provide personal trainers. We have an outdoor terrace so people can breathe during their breaks. We provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner to all of our employees, snacks. And we have a very strong leadership team on the ground that is working closely to ensure that our culture stays intact, so that translates into very strong retention numbers for us and a very high satisfaction rate. We conduct quarterly business reviews and quarterly employee surveys, and 95% of our employees would refer a friend to work at Horatio, which is an extremely high number that we're proud of. So most of our clients and most of our employees come from referrals on both sides. And that is incredible for what we've been able to accomplish here. So it is a truly unique space. We are disrupting the industry around the world, but also in Latin America, which is not common. You can't find a facility like ours across any industry in the DR right now.
And so when you look at the let's say the three things you provide that are differentiated from everybody else when it comes to B2B, and if there's any B2C as well, what are the different? I mean, I've heard a lot of them, but what do you feel are the kind of three things that really differentiate you guys?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that we pride ourselves in being a premium outsourcing solution. And so we just don't hire agents, we build brand ambassadors. Our agents are fully bilingual in English and Spanish. As you know, over 25% of the US population is now Hispanic. So having that is a huge advantage for our clients that are trying to tap into that market. Everyone is college educated. They, because of the warmthness of where we are, near shore in Latin America, in Dominican Republic and Colombia, we're able to go and deliver empathetic on-brand experiences that feel in-house and they don't feel outsourced. We're so close to the US that all of our clients come and spend time with their teams and they see them as a true extension of the organization. So that premium brand aligned talent has helped us get even more clients through existing client referrals. So that's super differentiated because not all outsourcing clients are set up that way. So we have that, high touch partnership model. It does feel like a partnership. It's not, hey, this is what we're doing, go and do it, right? It's more like, how can we help you? And we are extremely proactive in the way that we work. That translates into how we think about data and analysis. And we provide very strong reporting capabilities to all of our clients. They can look at, we build a dashboard that is custom for every client. So they can see like that we are providing that hands-on strategic support, and we're invested in their success from day one. And so that is something that everyone here on the leadership side and even at the agent level is super proud of and is super focused on ensuring that clients understand that we are providing that true partnership approach to ensuring that we are setting everything up for success. And it's a continuous model. Like we're big believers in Kaizen, which is constant improvement, which is one of our values. And the other thing is, I would say flexibility is something that our clients value a lot. And the fact that we have industry specific expertise in three main verticals, that is e-commerce and retail, fintech and healthcare. We have been able to scale fast without sacrificing quantity. A lot of our clients are growing very fast. We've had clients that start with a team of 5 agents and they need 100 in a month. And if you don't have the right foundation and the right partner, that can go really bad. And so making sure that we are able to know where we shine and what our niche and expertise is has worked out really well, so we can continue scaling fast, as I mentioned, without sacrificing that quality.
So good. E-commerce, retail. Give me those 4 or 5 you said.
Yeah, e-commerce and
Fintech.
retail, fintech and financial services, healthcare and health tech. So both go hand in hand. And then we also work with a lot of tech, marketplaces, solutions like food delivery apps, ride sharing apps, and we're now doing a lot of work with AI companies, so providing support and trust and safety and content moderation solutions for AI companies.
And what type of talent is most used when you think of AI companies?
So because AI is something that is relatively new, we've been able to train a lot of talent in-house to understand the latest technological advancements and leverage our AI partners to help us train the team on how to fine-tune LLMs with the relevant prompts, with the relevant data, how to provide feedback to these LLMs to ensure that we're having the right accuracy, tone, and brand alignment. And then the other thing that we're doing a lot for AI companies is more surrounding like trust and safety and like AI quality. And that is something that we can translate from our customer service and moderation work that we've done with other regular companies.
When we talk about AI and where it's going, I mean, is a little kind of daunting to many people. We actually have an AI company that's growing fast also, but we don't do enough outsourcing probably. But when you look at the speed of AI, I mean, the stuff that we spent millions of dollars building 5, 7, 6, 7 years ago, right, would cost almost nothing today, right? We basically have access to it almost for free, right? So when you think about the fast-moving industry of AI, where do you guys think that's going to take you, or where do you think it's going to create advantages or disadvantages for you in the future?
Yeah, so I think that when AI came in the news 2 years ago, everyone was freaking out. I think that the news are kind of like dying down in terms of like the threat that's going to have in the industry, because everyone has realized that AI is just another tool to support humans and make sure that our agents are becoming more efficient. So the narrative is shifting from, oh, AI is going to like completely replace jobs, to AI is going to be a co-pilot to help our agents become true pilots, right? To help us provide hyper personalization at scale, which is not easy. It's not easy when you're just leveraging AI and copy pasting. People and customers know when AI is responding to a ticket, and people don't like that. Empathy is still very important. So it's having that human plus AI collaboration as a tool that is something that we're working there alongside our AI platforms and the AI solutions that we're using. There is still a lot of uncertainty surrounding the noise that you see on LinkedIn is incredible. I mean, if I hear another AI post, I'm going to vomit, basically. Everyone is talking about AI, and everyone's showing these flashy demos, Gary, that when you see the demo, you're like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Now, when you try to translate that into real world efficiency, that it doesn't work. So what we're seeing is that many AI demos are impressive, but they're often overpromised and they underdeliver, and it's super underwhelming when it comes to actual operational efficiency. And the real challenge isn't just building a flashy demo. It's like how you can integrate AI into your workflows in a way that it drives measurable outcomes. What are the measurable outcomes that I'm looking for as an outsourcing provider for my clients? Is I want to reduce handle times. So I want to help our agents ensure that they can fix the issue in less amount of time. That's how I evaluate the efficiency of an AI platform. I'm looking for fewer escalations. If you look at the escalation rate for AI platforms, it's still subpar, because what they're handling is the tier one stuff that was already handled by a chatbot or by an RPA tool.
Sure.
You know, if you go on a platform you call T-Mobile, there's a point where you're gonna hit human very fast. So are you building real solutions to help your clients, or are you building more barriers to get access to that human, which ultimately you're going to need? And the other thing that I'm looking for is increased agent capacity. Can my agent handle more tickets by using a technological solution? And can they handle multiple chats at a time if they're leveraging AI? Some of the tools that I'm exploring are actually helping me achieve that. But every use case is different. And so you cannot apply a blanket statement to AI. Even if you look at these flashy AI design companies that are saying, hey, you don't need a graphic design team now. They're hiring graphic designers. Why do you think they're hiring graphic designers, right? Because there's always an element that requires human components. And that is what we're seeing in terms of AI companies realizing that they actually need humans. And you saw the Klarna article from the CEO where last year he said, we're automating and we don't need all these people. And then he took it back a couple of months ago saying like, hey, we realized that was a dumb decision and now we actually need humans. It's like, yes. So I would encourage everyone to just like try to sift through the noise and try to find what's best for them, and understand that one size does not fit all. And the human in the loop model, to me, is what's going to be the future of my industry, which is going to ultimately ensure quality and trust in your client base.
Sure. Yeah. And you know, I really believe that, you know, AI, if you don't embrace AI and use it where it makes you more efficient in your businesses, you might get passed by, right? I mean, it's a tool, as you said. It's not going to dominate, you know, industries, but the tool, if it's not used for some that resist it, they're going to have a distinct disadvantage to the competition. That's my belief.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So when we talk about you know, the vision of, you know, how you guys came about this vision, did it just kind of stumble along, kind of how you solve the problem here, you solve the problem there. Boy, it might be a real business. Let's look at more customers. Did you do you have a roadmap? Did you just establish a roadmap 6, 7, 8 years ago when you started this thing and said, here's where we're going, and you're on your way? Have you just developed that type of vision and mentality today?
Yes, our vision has always remained the same, which in my opinion, it is to redefine the future of customer experience by combining incredible, exceptional human talent with the latest technological advancements. And what we aim to do is we want to be the trusted partner for global brands that want to scale and want to find a partner that can scale with them, but without compromising quality. And so that's what we've been able to accomplish, is constantly innovate, constantly adapt, and ensure that we're empowering our clients to serve their customers better, faster, and smarter.
I like it. So when you look at people, revenues, you really don't measure that stuff much. You don't measure, how, what your goals are for growth and customers served or anything like that.
Yeah. So our growth has been incredible, and if you look at industry levels, we are way beyond the industry average for growth. We've been, when we ranked number 107 out of 5,000 companies in the first time we ranked at Inc. magazine's 5,000 ranking. So that goes to show you how quickly we've grown. Last year we grew tremendously amount, 60%. This year we're on track to do something similar. I also want to emphasize here that we also have another vision or another mission, which is to create meaningful careers for people in Latin America. And so that is something that we don't take lightly. So it's ensuring that we're also remaining people first when we're trying to find the right partners. So we try to look for people that really care about their employees. That is something that is a huge differentiating factor when I'm evaluating potential new clients. It's like, do they care about their team? Do they want to provide that white glove service and experience that doesn't feel outsourced? And are they going to invest alongside us in building out meaningful careers for their dedicated teams that we're building here at Horatio? I always tell them, hey, we're doing a lot here in-house to treat our employees right, obviously, but I want you guys to also help us accomplish that and to also not forget about your own brand values. And so we're always trying to align that because at the end of the day, this is a people business. It doesn't matter how much technology we embed into the company. At the end of the day, we live and breathe by our people.
Yeah, alignment of culture is imperative, right? I mean, alignment of culture between you and your customers is imperative, because if they don't care about their employees, then they're probably not going to care about your employees, right? And if you care about your employees and they don't, it doesn't match. It's not going to work. So
yes,
alignment of culture means everything. And when it comes to core values, do you look at, what do you have core values that you guys have stated that you think about and talk about and hire and fire by, or tell us about that?
Yes. It's funny because I actually was on a panel at Morgan Stanley invited me to speak on a panel, which is kind of funny, going back to my old firm and attend as a speaker and as a founder. I selfishly, and I told this on the panel, like I actually replicated some of the core values that I learned at Morgan Stanley and that they live by, which is, clients come first. So when our clients succeed, we succeed. We always provide exceptional results, and excellence is at the forefront of that. I always encourage people to act with integrity, which is obviously doing the right thing and speaking up no matter what. We take a lot of ownership in the work that we do, the quality of the work, and the relationship. This is a relationship business, so we are as transparent as possible with our clients. Innovation, but with purpose. So we're always looking for ways to innovate. As I mentioned, when we started Horatio, we were always trying to see how we can incorporate technology. And even before the word AI came about, we were always using AI to continue to expand and provide better solutions for our clients, but also to elevate the human potential of our employees. And the last value that is very important to me is community and giving back. We are very fortunate to work in a culture that fosters collaboration, that really takes care of our employees. And what we've built here is something that is similar to what Morgan Stanley does, which is an initiative called Community Teamworks. Here we call it Horatio Cares, which is our community service initiative where all of our employees are encouraged, not required, encouraged, but the participation rate is one of the highest I've seen, to ensure that they're giving back. And that is something that we're super proud of giving back to the community. We organize a lot of different initiatives with a lot of foundations, not only in the DR, but also in Colombia. And that is something that brings people together across the organization to recognize that we have to continue advocating for the well-being of everyone and the community that we're surrounded by. So that is, in a nutshell, one of the core values that I really care about.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's important. I mean, right, if you surround yourself with giving atmosphere, right, you're gonna have givers that are on your team that are leading your teams, right? They don't only come to work for the check. They love the fact that this team, as it grows, enables this whole company to give back more to the communities that we all serve, right? So it's it's an amazing thing that happens when you have culture of giving within your organization, for sure. We have a foundation that we started 20 years ago. It's now named after my late wife. Her and I started together. It's the Cheryl Rabine Foundation, and the Cheryl Rabine Foundation gives to children, elderly, and vets. And we don't give to anything unless we have teammates, leaders, and teammates that actually engage with that organization to understand what it does, how we can give more time and talent, not just money, right? And with all that, if you have people that do those things, you have a culture of caring and giving, and when somebody across the office needs something, there are more hands raised when you have a culture like that, compared to, if you really don't care about the community you live in, you don't care about the people around you, you don't care to support, those in need around you. You're probably not growing that culture within your organization, which it's a shame, because when you can do that, there's not much stopping you, right? So it's really cool.
Yeah, agreed.
I love it. When we look at B to B and B to C, right now you're mostly B to C, is that right?
I would say we are 60% 60% direct to B2C and 40% B2B.
Oh, okay, more B to C. Okay.
Yes.
And when you think about that, is there any difference? Is there a difference when you're looking at the social media and all that stuff that when you serve consumers compared to businesses, business to business? Are they different teams? I think about this selfishly because we're mostly B2B, right? And I think about
Yes.
that. Yeah.
For B2B, we are managing complex relationships and processes. And so we tend to hire more like an account management profile, or what I said we call customer success. So it requires a different level of handholding and a different level of expertise. We hire people that have experience in your industry. So it really depends on the type of support that we're providing. We also, for B2B companies, we also do a lot of like onboarding and implementation support, like guiding guiding your customers or your partners through setup and integration of your platform or of your solution. So that's a lot of like onboarding, intake, documentation. And so it is a different type of work that we're doing for B2B companies versus B2C companies, where in the B2C space, we're doing the traditional omni-channel customer support. We're doing more of the order management. We are doing like optimization of workflows. We're doing a lot of things in the background, whereas with B2B, it's more like face-to-face and relationship based.
When you look at the costs of your cost compared to the cost of in America of labor or back office or marketing or whatever, right? We think about teammates in America, depending on where you're at. We're in all different parts of the country, but let's just say in the office environment, administrative, you might have a total package of $70,000, let's say on average. When it comes to sales, it might be $100,000 on average. When it comes to when it comes to higher level sales, it might be $200,000 a year total package, right? How does it compare when you outsource, Horatio?
Yeah. So in terms of overall savings versus in-house, you are looking at savings between 40 to 60% in labor cost alone. On top of that, I always invite companies to like understand like what are the hidden costs that you're not accounting for, like recruitment, turnover, onboarding, health insurance, retirement contributions, um, office space if they're in the office, utilities. You have to like do the analysis,
Yeah.
like office supplies, equipment, all of that, and like it adds up, right? Technology, software, all that stuff. So when you look at comparing, obviously significant savings, and the benefit is that our offices are like our teams come to the office, like it's all in the office work, which obviously I am biased towards more of like that hybrid in-office model, where as opposed to 100% remote, because that allows us to retain employees for a longer time. And those are some of the hidden turnover costs that you don't see as a company, right? The cost of replacing an employee who leaves the company. And so there are significant savings. But I try not to lead the conversation with just the cost savings and just saying like, oh, this is a labor cost arbitrage, because more often than not, like the quality that you get is the same, if not better, just because this is what we do, this is what we know, and we can provide a better experience for your customers by having a dedicated team that their only focus and expertise is this.
Sure. No, I love it. I love it. Finding the right fit when you're hiring is tough, and in America, tougher than many places, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of friends of mine have gone to this model and are having great success, and it makes sense. And by the way, there's a labor shortage in America as well, right? So it's not like we got abundance of labor and we can find people easily. It's not easy. It's a tough thing. And
Exactly. And I think that that's one of the biggest challenges is not the labor shortage, but also the companies that we work with scale very fast, and they struggle to quickly scale operations if they don't have an outsourced team with us that can like have like a strong recruiting engine. And it takes a lot of time, and so sometimes they just don't have time in their favor, right? So they have to like rely on us to like staff up quickly, but also train quickly. And if you don't have the right expertise that can help mitigate those recruitment challenges and ensuring a high level of skill and performance, then you're going to have a difficult time scaling and building out operational efficiencies.
how big could you get? I mean, when you think about the island you're on and all that, and where you're, Colombia, and when you think of Dominican Republic and the population there, is it abundant? Is it an abundant amount of talent there that you can find?
Yes, we have typically what we do for bigger teams is we build teams in both Colombia and the DR for business continuity purposes. We have a lot of room to grow in both geographies. We're actually exploring expanding into other Latin places as well, and taking our brand to new countries. But our largest client is about 400 dedicated team members, and we have them split up in between our 3 sites. So typically what we like to do is once they hit a decent size, we try to find a team in the other side so that they have business continuity there.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to time zones, is that a factor at all? I mean, you're not that far off where you're at, but I mean, when you work across the country,
That is actually one of the advantages of working with us, because we're near shore versus hiring an outsourcing provider in the Philippines, where the time zone is a complete opposite and it's so far to get to. We are a 24/7 operation. Most of our clients, as I said, they're all in the US, so we cover West Coast and East Coast average, and so time zones, and so we're able to service our clients around the clock.
Cool. I love it. What a great business model. I mean, I love the fact that you're a Goldman guy, Morgan Stanley guy, and you're going back to be one of the all-stars. They come in to talk to their team about, building business and advising and all the other things that, you do today that you did in a great way for them. Now you're doing on your own, which is pretty cool. Because they, I'm sure they want your business now. Your old employer wants your business now. Okay, Jose, when are you coming on board to invest with us and let us help you, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's a pretty cool thing. And to think about, you're still a young guy. You've got a lot of bandwidth to really grow this thing or anything you do in the future. What are some books you've read or some people that you look up to that you follow or whatever out there that help you, in your opinion, help you be the best leader you can be?
A recent book that I am reading right now is The Five Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. It's eye-opening. I highly recommend you read it, or you can find the audiobook on Spotify, which is what I'm doing now between planes. But it's about understanding what really matters in life. That it's not only about financial wealth, but it's about also taking care of yourself from a physical and mental standpoint, spending time with your loved ones, building out that sense of emotional support and enriching your life. So trying to work more on that, working more on my spiritual wealth and building out what I want to see in my life in the future in terms of my core values and what does it mean to be wealthy and building out that path. So that is something that I'm really enjoying right now in terms of books, and I'm almost done. So I highly recommend that one.
I like it. Yeah, it's wealth is really a moving target, right? It's how you balance your life and where you really create real wealth, right? Wealth isn't about money. I mean, yes, part of it. Money helps, right? But it's about that, how are you treating your family? Are you close? Is your family close? Are your kids close? Are your friendships close? Do you treat them all with the love that you would want in yourself? Yeah, those are, and then spiritually, of course, right? Is there, what is it that keeps that moral compass and keeps you, really exercising that your faith, whatever that faith is, right? So a lot of that stuff is sometimes compromised as you're building businesses like you have or I have, right? And we got to get somebody to check that for us sometimes. Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
So eventually you'll find that
But
great wife that'll kick you in the butt once in a while and say, "Whoa, wait,
exactly.
took too far this way. Get back to some faith there. Hey, wait, your family's over here, right?" And I think that's important to have somebody that in your life that eventually husband, wife that holds us accountable sometimes, and that's not easy to find all the time.
Correct. Yeah, I see it with my partners now that they have kids and I've seen that how life changes for them very quickly, and I see how they change as individuals and how their priorities have shifted since having kids and building a family, which is exciting, and I'm looking forward to doing that at some point.
Yeah, I had my sixth grandchild yesterday, or my daughter.
Oh,
had my
congrats.
sixth grandchild yesterday. So a little boy with no name yet. They thought it was going to be a girl, so they had girls' names, no boys' names. I told them from the beginning it's going to be a boy. It's going to be born right about my birthday. They should name it after me, but that's probably not going to work out. But overall, we had our sixth, which this guy's just cute as can be and healthy, and she's healthy. So it's a very happy day, right? And without family and building a family, it's you miss out on some of that, right? So
Yeah,
I recommend it to anybody. Build a great family and and live through that family, because life is short and business is great, and this entrepreneurial thing is a lot of fun, but it's no fun if you're eating by yourself, right? So
100%.
yeah. Okay, Chris, what do you got, man? This is a great conversation with an amazing young man that's building something special. I want to introduce you also to my son, who's the CEO of our tech company, if you'll take that call. Maybe explore. We've got maybe about 70 or 80 teammates on that team right now in the tech company. It's about a $20 million business that's growing fast. but it's only growing as fast as it can based on the talent they have. And so they do a little bit of outsourcing, but not a lot. And so maybe you can discover how you can help us, grow faster. All right. So Austin Rabine is his name. So I'm going to have Austin follow up with you. I'll get your cell number from Chris, if that's okay.
Great. Yeah, happy to.
Hey, Chris, what do you got, man? What'd you discover here with this this amazing young man?
Yeah, that absolutely flew by. I could listen to you guys talk for the rest of the afternoon. Jose, I mean, just incredible work, my friend. Like not only did you create something that you're passionate about, but you incorporated your countrymen and women who are incredibly talented and are just eager for an opportunity. So it's such a massive win-win. Really, really impressive. My question is about you have achieved such incredible year-over-year growth, and you did it without taking any outside investment. How did you achieve that, and why was that an important part of your growth strategy?
So you're trying to ask Jose, was he like a billionaire before this happened or what? Right, Chris?
So going to business school really opened my eyes to the way that startups are built. And coming from a school that is focused on value investing, I never really understood the concept, and maybe it's because of my risk tolerance of building a company that is not profitable and that doesn't have strong ROI from day one. So when I was looking at companies to build, and this is why we stopped going the VC route, because we were not going to make a single penny for years, is we were looking for an industry and a company that had the potential for strong cash flow early on. And we put all of our savings into building this. We were very scrappy. As I said, I was living in a rent control studio in the West Village. I took out a loan to pay for business school, and we basically put in our initial savings to be able to hire the first set of people. We were growing very fast, and there was going to be a point where we needed to actually raise outside capital. But then COVID hit, and COVID was scary at the beginning for us because our business went bust overnight, which was very scary. At the time of COVID, I had 10 clients and 5 went out of business overnight, completely shut down. And we chose not to let go of our staff. And we were fortunate enough that the Dominican government was subsidizing part of the salary, so that allowed us to hold on for a little bit. That also meant that we had to move to a completely remote environment overnight, so we didn't have to really spend that much in real estate at the beginning. So we were able to save all of that, and our business grew exponentially because what happened during COVID, people started shopping online, and what was our bread and butter at the time? It was e-commerce. So we went from 5 clients canceling to getting 10 new clients overnight, that were e-commerce. And so we grew from a team of, at the time we had 30 people. And by the end of 2020, we already had 250 employees, and that was built fully remote. So we had a little bit of that breathing room and that advantage that actually helped us in the long run save that money to actually invest in this state-of-the-art facility that you are seeing right now, which was our vision from day one. We just had a delay of a year and change because of COVID, and that gave us that breathing room to be able to build out the right infrastructure without requiring outside capital. And to this day, we're profitable, and we continue to grow and reinvest in the business.
That's awesome. And Chris, as you know, what Jose said is true. So many companies think, oh, we're a startup, we shouldn't be profitable. I mean, just to me, it's such a crazy mentality that you shouldn't be profitable. And I have a board in the tech company. I have a board for my old school businesses, right? But I have a board for my tech company. Amazing minds, really smart people. And they scratch their heads when I say the same thing Jose said. Hey, I want to deliver a strong ROI. I want profitability as we're growing this thing 50, 60, 70%. And oftentimes I catch flack because they don't like that idea, because they've been around many tech startups that lose money for 5, 6, 7, 8 years before they make money. And I'm not saying it's a terrible idea. I just like the security and a little bit more conservative nature of being profitable
Yep.
as you're growing. Like Jose said, the risk is much lower for Jose as he's profitable growing this business compared to being a business where you're losing your butt year after year and you got to keep raising money and raising money and raising money. Someday COVID comes along and nobody's investing in you anymore. The well dries up, right, Jose?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think operating without outside capital encourages sustainable growth and strong financial discipline to grow within your means, right? And it forces you to make smart decisions. It forces you to optimize cash flow, and it ensured that our business model was profitable from day one. Like, it's very clear what our business model is and how we built a profitable business. And that's primarily driven by the fact that we didn't have to rush to meet short-term expectations of an outside investor, and we had the flexibility to focus on our long-term strategy and play that out.
I love it. I'm gonna have my son and my site technology board listen to you on this one. Okay, I'm gonna put this on, man. Make them listen to it.
It's a good clip.
Chris, what are your thoughts there, buddy?
Oh, Jose, I mean, it sounds like, in addition to growth and delivering just top-notch service, like treating your people as, to the highest level that you could was foundational to the creation and kind of growth strategy here. It seems like if VC money was involved, then that might have put that aspect of the business at risk. And it seems like, your people who are so motivated and capable, treating them with respect and appreciation and treating them like that's core to your service. Like, you couldn't deliver that level of service without, having that respect and high treatment of them. So it's kind of ironic.
Yes, and I think that I would be shocked if an investor would come in today and that investor not appreciating the fact that the community that we built and what we built is core to our success. And as you mentioned, like, at Horatio, we've created more than just a workplace. We've built a community where people feel supported, inspired, they're empowered to thrive. The space that we've designed is designed for impact. It's designed for collaboration, and it's designed for growth. And that is the success of Horatio. It is our people-centered culture, and any investor would see that if they walk into our offices and they can just feel the energy and the vibe, and they can talk to our clients, and our clients would tell you the reason why they're with us is because of how we operate, it's because of our consulting approach, and it's because of our people. And that is hard to replicate as a culture. And we've had a lot of people try to do that, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, 60% year-over-year growth since 2022 or even 2020. How do you maintain that while keeping the culture intact? That seems like a monumental task.
It's all about making sure that we build the right leadership team that understands what we're trying to accomplish here. And I am super proud of the fact that a lot of our directors at the company started as agents. I've had people that started with us since day one in a tiny 300 square feet office where we had no vision, no nothing. I just strapped the logo in front of that wall, and they believed in our vision, and they believed that we could do something different. And without this leadership team, we wouldn't be where we are today. And so we have a culture of trying to promote from within, and our top people all started as agents. And so it's how can we continue to replicate that as we continue growing? And that is something that I tell them, hey, try to identify leadership potential early on, and let's work to get them to the level where they need that expertise to become directors as well. Like your job is to make sure that your job is replaceable, right? And that is something that I cultivate, that we spend a lot of time cultivating here. Is like there's no room for ego. There's no room for getting credit for what you are doing as a director. Like if your team is not self-sufficient, then we're doing something wrong here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when we have a new client coming in to Horatio, the first thing that we do is like, hey, let's see who is ready for that challenge. How can we promote that person? How can we get them to become a leader with that new account, and pair them with a buddy in a buddy system so they can have the support from a senior director, but they know that if they do well, going to ultimately run that account themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that seems so organic to your experience and your story. I mean, you started in like a call center, and you're like, I feel like I would treat me different and my coworkers different. So that's perfect. The last thing I'll say is, I love to hear, these AI companies, all they say is like, oh, you won't need employees anymore, you won't need a call center, like we got all that covered, just outsource to us, and it's like just as good, if not better. And then secretly they're outsourcing to you.
Yes.
That warms my heart. I love that.
Yeah, well, you saw the scandal of this. There was a AI fintech company. I think that was last week. I actually was going to talk about it on LinkedIn today, where they were saying that it was an AI and fully 100% AI company, and they had a bunch of humans in the background dealing with everything. So I would take the messaging with a grain of salt and try to understand really what is the use of AI within each use case, because there's always some human in the loop there. I see this post of these like solopreneurs saying like, oh, I built this company to like 1 million of ARR with all AI agent. Now the word of the day is agentic. Like if you use the word agentic, like you sound smart. And when you look deep down, it's like, okay, let's see if you can actually scale past that 1 million of ARR, right? With your agentic AI agents. I just see that it's virtually impossible. So I think that the future is evolving, but I think we need to like understand what's like the real truth and what the real reality is of the future of AI. And as Gary mentioned, it's about incorporating it, because you're gonna left behind if you don't do leverage AI. But it's like making sure that you understand how to use it and when to use it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Well, Jose, you're awesome, buddy. Really amazing story that we're blessed to be a part of, to be able to listen to, and we're gonna see if there's a way to partner with you with one or two of my companies. I think there's something there. I also like the idea of getting to go to go to your island there and hang out with you guys, checking it out and checking out the beaches and enjoying the weather for take the winter months and go there and visit your partners if we become partners, right? Some people
For sure. And
like
if you like to play golf, also amazing golf facilities here. We have good tennis. So
awesome.
baseball is our national sport. So it's a great time of the year to come in the winter. So you're more than welcome to come and visit us.
We love it. And, I look at, so many things that you do, and anybody can take a bunch of great nuggets for success in their own businesses. But, your clients are number one. I mean, seems simple, but boy, if you really focus on that and your clients, you really feel like you're there to serve them first, they're not going anywhere. The clients don't leave if they know for sure that you're there to serve them first. When I think of innovation with purpose, I mean, everybody talks about innovation, but are they really innovating to solve their customers' biggest problems, right? Is there innovation really with purpose, as you said? I like that one a lot. And then community and giving back, I'm a huge fan of course, because I think you build a team, as you have, of people that are really givers. If they're givers in public, they're also givers in the office, around the teammates, right, to help each other out. And with that, in my opinion, that also translates to what you said last was, your job as a leader and as a leader of any scale is to make sure your job is replaceable, right? It's not to make you the all-star and get all the accolades. It's actually to make your job replaceable. When you do that, the organization gets way stronger, right? There's not any weak links if you do that across the board, right? and as well as, you know, you also have more opportunity to do more, right? When you can build your job, as great as it might be, to be replaced by somebody that you can mentor into that spot in a short period of time, man, now you've created crazy value in yourself, right? And too many people don't understand that, in my opinion, and too many leaders don't lead with that. Even though we all, as leaders, if you're a good leader, you kind of know that's what you want to be doing, right, to scale. But that doesn't mean that we do a very good job of it. So I love that was the last thing you said. So thanks so much for being on today. Your story is amazing. If you ever come to Chicago or Naples, Florida, you gotta give me a call and let's talk. All right.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Chris. It was great meeting you, and looking forward to staying in touch.
Thank you so much, and thanks for being on Ditch Digger CEO today. And until next time, see ya.